Woody, first in the chat. What did I win? You won a photo that's coming your way, buddy. Not too long. I just need to get over to the post office. Well, and I need to get to the printer and pick it up. Good morning, Kevin. How are you, sir? I want to close my office door here, just in case the dogs bark. Now, if only I could figure out how to change it. Hey, good evening. What do you mean evening? Warm and sunny in Iowa today. Yeah, it's going to be in the 50s here in the next couple of days. Phil doesn't know what time it is. Are you at work, Phil? I hope. You're always working. Good morning. Hey, good morning. Thanks for jumping on. I appreciate it. Phil, I've been thinking about making a run down your way when the kids have spring break. So I was going to message you, see if you might want to get together. But I gotta get clearance from the tower first, though. I have not mentioned it. I wanted to use the camera that is on my bigger monitor, and I think I messed that up. You don't have access to this feature. Share screen. Don't want to do that. So if I'm looking over here at my big screen, I apologize. Have to give it a minute. I don't want to start too early. Steve K is on from Minneapolis. Wow. What is the temperature? Are things starting to loosen up a little bit as far as the weather goes in Minneapolis? God, I hope so. March 14th through, that's probably right around that same time that the kids are out of school. I'll have to check. Oh, nice in Florida, 70 and going higher. My mom's down in Clearwater, so I am glad to hear that. She gets cold very easily. A little for the next, okay. Good. Yeah, Phil, I'll message you. I'll figure out when the spring break for school is. It would be cool to drive down there. And then I think Mr. Durant is a little bit east of you, I think. I don't know. I was thinking about doing a nice little 2 or 3, 4-day drive. So we'll see. I'll let you know. All right. Well, we're going to go ahead and jump right in. I know it's 2 minutes early, so for anybody that dials in at 10:30 right on the dot, I apologize for starting early, but it's a quick intro. I don't know if anybody on here is new, but my name is Garrick. I'm a photographer here in Northern Illinois, and I've had this YouTube channel for several years now, and I just honestly started doing live streams recently because a lot of the guys that I know, some are on right now today, have done live streams, and I thought it was really cool and a good way to connect and a good way to build community. So first things first for this morning is a quick update on the one photo challenge. And just wanted to say we got 9 entries, which is really cool. If you're not familiar with the one photo challenge, just hop into the community section, the posts, and you'll be able to see what that's all about. But yeah, doing the first one, we got 9 entries, and what I'm going to do is show them all in a video next week at this time. So next week will be a premiere video. That was an idea that was suggested on this live stream last week, I think by Ron Durant. So I'm going to create the video and talk about all the images, or feature 3 to 5 of the images and show all of them. It's not a contest, so I hope nobody gets kind of hung up on that. But like I said, I'll just feature 3 to 5 and talk about them and I'll show mine, obviously, and it'll be good. It's all about like-minded creative people getting together and just kind of showing their interpretation of that month's subject, and it'll be fun. I think it'll be really cool. I was really surprised to get 9. I wasn't sure if I was going to get any, and we got 9, and so that's cool. It'll be fun to share those next week. But so I'll create a video and we'll put it up on the channel as a premiere, and that way we can all watch it together and we can kind of communicate back and forth about the different images. So that's how we'll do it for February's one photo challenge, and sit tight because things change all the time, and who knows what March will bring and going forward. I'm trying to learn the different softwares on how to do live streams so I can go back and forth, show my screen and other applications and things like that. So yeah, so I'm just trying to improve each and every live stream, just get incrementally better as we go forward. So all about continuous improvement, something I learned in my 30 years of the insurance world. So yeah, so just remember the one photo challenge is just for fun. So topic of today's live stream, and this is a good one and should generate a lot of discussion. And it has nothing to do with AI. So what makes a good image? That is the topic for today. And I know it's open to great interpretation. And that's what makes it fun. And I'm not talking about what makes a great or good landscape image. I'm not talking about what makes a good street photography image. Not talking about what makes a good portrait. I purposely left it vague and wanted to ask you all what makes a good image. And I see out of the corner of my eye over here that the chat is kind of lighting up a little bit. So let me drag this over to my other screen. Let's see. Ron is northy. Okay. There's rural route to photography. In other words, Stacy. Thanks for jumping on, Stacy. Garrick, any way you can face the other camera and look over it? Woody. That's because my other camera's not working, Woody, and I'm blind and I cannot see. All right. For Woody, we're gonna try to fix this. Incrementally better every week. That's what we're going for. So let me okay, Woody. Oh my God. I know that's better. There's my little light. So now I've got to drag this over to my little screen so I can be looking at, uh-oh, what happened? I think you guys are going to watch this for how not to do live streams. Maybe that's what I should title these from now on. So because my screens are not the same size, it's kind of a pain. Now I got to put my glasses on, Woody, because I can't see a thing. All right, for me, it's when it evokes emotion. Yeah, that is my number one. When an image makes you feel something, I think that is the strongest indicator of it being a good image. How's that, Woody? Is that better? Now I've got this light right in my face. Let's see if I can move this. It's not the best, boy. I need a better light. How about that? That's good, right? I just changed the color on this light to make it a little less warm. So hopefully it looks a little bit better for you guys. Didn't mean for you to do all just look at, it's a pain in my ass, Woody. I can't look at the one screen because the camera's on the little screen. It's not a problem, buddy. So, light, depth, balance, etc. Woody, you're not a pain in the butt. Never are, buddy. Never are. It's all good. I need to get my. I've got one of these cameras on my other monitor, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. And it worked just the other day. I had a Zoom call with my siblings, and it worked fine. And this morning, it's. I can't say it's not working because I forgot to look for an alternate camera when I turned the live stream on. So again, I will take the blame. But getting back to today's question, what makes a good image? And yeah, I think for me the top of the list is it makes the viewer feel something, some type of emotion, so happiness, anger, nostalgia, humor, you name it. Go through the list of emotions, and I think that's first. Obviously, the technical parts come in. Like Phil was talking, the light, the depth, the balance, the composition, all that kind of stuff. And I've got some notes on my other screen here. So, good picture creates emotion before explanation. Nostalgia, loneliness. A lot of my pictures, honestly, from my Chicago street photography work, a lot of that depicts loneliness. Tension is another good one. Stillness is another good one. And that making you feel something, that kind of leads into the March one photo project, honestly. And if you join the one photo project for the month of March, heads up that the theme is going to be cold, because I've been so sick of the cold this winter. It's been the longest, darkest, coldest winter I can ever remember. So the theme for the March one photo project is going to be cold, but we'll definitely, more to come on that. I don't want to take up the time here to talk about that. So William Beck, I roam the streets and back alleys looking for things out of place that people will say, what is that, or how did that happen? Yeah, and that's another one. A good image, that was on my list. A good image, not in those words, but that was on my list. A good image tells a story or suggests a story. The image doesn't have to tell the whole story, in my opinion. It can leave that uncertainty, right? And uncertainty in my world, uncertainty for someone like me that deals with anxiety and depression and all that stuff, uncertainty is not a good thing to have. But in the world of art and creating art, uncertainty is really good to have. I always come back to the analogy of, a good movie, right? There's uncertainty. You don't know what's going to happen at the end. You don't know who the killer is. So, so uncertainty in your normal life is, it can be good and it can be not so good at times, but definitely in the world of photography, storytelling, what makes a good image, definitely uncertainty is one of those. And I know that wasn't necessarily what you were saying, but that's certainly how my interpretation of that. You're in the streets, in the back alleys, and you're finding that right light that shows enough but doesn't tell the whole story. And to me, that's one of those things that does create a good image. And thinking of street photography, and my favorite street photographer, Saul Leiter, he would shoot through the fogged up windows and mirrors and things like that, and it would throw his subject into a kind of painterly, I don't know the word, but it would make it look, obscure or abstract to a certain degree. And you would know, what you're looking at, because Saul Leiter would always have like an anchor, right? Maybe the fender of a car or the corner of a building or the stoplight or whatever would be pretty identifiable, but then the rest of the subject or the rest of the image is not as identifiable. And that's one of the things. I mean, there's hundreds of other things when it comes to Saul Leiter's images, but that's one of them that really strengthens his images for me, or at least draws me to them personally. So, but yeah, I love that. Roaming the streets and back alleys. Look, I have not been out. I've been kind of and this is a whole nother topic, not for today, but I've been, just the cold up here has really kind of sapped my motivation. I've not been out with the camera in at least a week, which is a long time for me. So yeah, just done with it. And there are some good comments or tips on last week's live stream about, hey, do an indoor project, and that is a good idea. And I haven't done it yet. Been doing a lot of reorganization. I talked about that last week as well, trying to get my stuff together, and yeah, moved all of my notes for all of my photography and all of my channel into Microsoft OneNote, because I had everything scattered everywhere. I've got 4. I got 4 notebooks right here, and there's 2 behind me on that desk. And I've got, all my electronic notes, whether it's on Apple Notes or, sticky notes or whatever. So, yeah, I've been trying to just get my head above water when it comes to organization. It's not been good, or it has been good, getting cleaned up and getting organized. It makes you feel good, makes you feel like you've accomplished something, and definitely saves you some time, although it's, a time taker to get yourself reorganized. Now, if you can stay organized going forward, that's a win. That's the hard part for me. So let's see what else is out there. Woody, I don't take any good images. I just click the shutter button. That's not true. I have seen your eagle pictures are amazing. So hopefully you all out there on the live stream have seen Woody's images. He goes to these eagle releases, which is really cool. And he gets some amazing shots of the bald eagles. So very, very cool. William Beck, people have lived here all their lives and don't see anything around them. Yeah. Yeah, and sadly, I'm kind of one of them. I mean, I do see stuff around me, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't. In fact, I was just talking to a friend of mine. Well, he's been in a few of my videos. His name's Gary. I was just texting him about doing like a mini Route 66 just car ride and get some nostalgic images. And it's something I've thought about for a long time, and I've just not done it. And it's time. It's definitely time. And Route 66, I'm very close to it. It originates, for those of you that might not know, it originates right in Chicago, and it runs south through Joliet and down through the country down there, down southeast of me, and it's hour and a half to like Braidwood, and I forget the names of the other towns, but there's a lot of cool, legit, authentic Route 66 stuff close to me, and I've never gone and shot it. And you guys, if you've watched any of the videos on this channel, you guys know I'm 1,000,000% into nostalgia. Anything old, anything nostalgic, I'm into it and want to go shoot it. And I've not been down there, so that's definitely a trip I'm going to be doing in the not too distant future. Hopefully, Gary gets back to me, because it's a full day trip. It would be fun to do it with somebody else. So I'm thinking soon, by spring, at the latest to go do that. So watch for that. Route 66. I mean, so much cool stuff and like little diners, and I don't know if there's any like abandoned buildings which I like to shoot also, but definitely want to go to like the little diners and the road signs and things like that. So I'm really excited to have that on my list, and that's actually part of me getting organized or reorganized. As I put that Microsoft OneNote thing together, and it's like, okay, now I've got a page to put all my ideas, and like, boom, there we go. Now not only do I have a page to hold all my thoughts and ideas, but hopefully I'll actually remember where I saved it. That was always the hard part for me. Phil, CPS spring break is the week after my Florida trip. What is CPS? Chicago Public School? Is that what that is? I'm not sure. But yeah, I've got to look up. So I drive for a school called SEAL, SEAL, and they're in Romeoville. So I'll check it out. In fact, yeah, I'll check it out after this. Yeah, Chicago Public Schools. I kind of figured that. Did you ever check to see if the public is invited to the Eagle releases in your state? No, I have not, just because it's been so cold. I've not been looking for anything else in the last, I don't know, since my birthday. So January 23rd, when I went out on my birthday, and it was the actual air temperature was 10 to 12 below, and the wind chill was like between 30 and 40 below, and I froze, and this is going to be gross, but I'll share it. The tip of my big toe on my left foot is completely black. So, and it's not hygiene related, which I would get from one of my kids. But so I'm thinking, I don't know. I've not Googled it. I've not seen the doctor. I've not Chat GPT'd it or whatever. But little insider information. I think I got frostbite that day. And I think the title of that video was, I don't know, it was dumb to do this or something like that. And it was more dumb than I really thought, even at the time. So anyway, long way of getting there, but I have not been too excited about getting back out in the cold, and maybe that's why. But the weather's starting to break here, as we were talking about earlier. It's going to be in the 40s for the rest of the week, maybe into the 50s over the weekend. So fingers crossed, knock on wood, that whole thing. Hopefully the weather kind of breaks and gives us a little bit of relief. I know we'll get that snowfall in March. We'll probably get a foot of snow someday in March, and right when it always happens, right when you think spring is here and spring is broken and winter is gone and you made it through and you're done with the cold, then you get dumped on again. It's like, it never fails. It happens every single year. So I know that's coming eventually. But this little break, if we can get a week or so of above freezing temperatures, that would be a mood shifter for me. So, William Beck, great idea, Mr. Thad. Yeah, so I'll check the School of Expressive Arts and Learning in Romeoville. Check their schedule, and I'll send you a message offline, Phil. But plus, like I said, I gotta get clearance from the tower on that one anyway. So, but I'm hoping I can get out. I'd love to go to Florida. Did that. Was that last year? Holy cow. Stopped in Chattanooga, saw Mr. Thatch. We did a little photography run and saw some. Tennessee is just a beautiful state. Went to Yoopers or Snoopers, I can't remember. Snoopers, Cliff, Ledge, Canyon, and got some beautiful images. But it was just a cool experience. So anybody out there has not been to the great state of Tennessee, you need to. It's a beautiful state, especially, well, the whole state is gorgeous. Well, I'm comparing it to Illinois, so I'm used to seeing flat, corn, barns, and that's it. So when I get south and I see like, something other than a hill, I see like a real mountain. That's cool. That is cool. So just getting back to our topic, what makes flat is, it can be. Phil said flat is beautiful though, and he's right. It definitely can be. So topic of the day is what makes a good image. And I had made a list on my own, and the top of my list was it's an image that makes you feel something. If an image can make you feel something, I think that's a good image. My next one on my list was the image has clear intent. It's like what the photographer was doing. That the photographer had that sign in that part of the image on purpose, or the car, or the tree, or the lake, or the duck, whatever. You can tell it's purposeful, and the photographer was intentional about this composition, and it shows. I think that's something. Yeah, it's kind of a technical skill, but it's also something that makes the image stronger. And I don't think you have to be the world's best technician to create a strong image, or a good image, or a great image for that matter. The next one on my list was it controls attention. The viewer's eye knows where to go. And that's one that and I'm hoping, going through this list, and you guys please add what you think as well to the chat, but I'm hoping that, going through this and having this discussion will kind of land in the back of all your heads, and when you're out shooting, some of these will pop back up to the surface and say, oh yeah, I want this image to how do I make this image and make it in a way that the viewer is going to feel some sort of emotion, whether it's nostalgia or pain or hunger or whatever. Maybe not hunger. I'm trying to lose weight. So, but controls attention, that's another one, another strong way, or another solid way to create what I think is a good image. And like I said, the viewer's eye, it knows where to go, it knows where to look, and that's all intentional, right? You can do that with leading lines. You can do that with, now this is going back to the old days, doing, your printing on an overhead and in the dark room and all that, dodging and burning, making sure, obviously you were all doing it in Lightroom now or some other software, but making the darker spots of the image darker where you need it to be darker, which will force the viewer's eye to the brighter parts of the image, and that's all intentional. I think I talked about it tells a story, and that was it. That was all I had on my list as far as what makes a strong image. And now I just want to kind of kick it over to you guys to see your thoughts on how do you, or are you even intentional about it? What are you most intentional about when you go out to make an image? I mean, or are you not? I mean, some people might not be. Yeah, I'm just interested in hear you guys' thoughts. Your old barn images that are kind of rough, moody, really touched me and led me to subscribe to. I can almost read. Boy, led me to subscribe to your channel, even if shot out of the car window. Well, yeah, thank you. And if it's really cold out, sometimes I'm shooting out of the car window, and I know Phil, who's at work, so he might not be listening right now, but I know he's done some videos where he talks about how he's shooting from the car window and with his 600 millimeter lens on his Nikon Z8 and gets some amazing, gorgeous images of the birds. And my favorite is the Carolina wren. So if you've not seen that, definitely check out Phil's channel. But yeah, and if I've got Cooper with me, I'm definitely doing a lot of shooting, from the truck and out the car window, if I can, But if I have to get out, I definitely get out. I think most of the time I'm getting out of the truck unless it's not a safe area. Even if I have Cooper with me, I'll try to, because I want to try to get the best composition. So, and shooting from the truck doesn't always yield that. So, but yeah, but if you have to shoot from the truck or the car or wherever you're shooting from, however you can make the image, hey, I'm all for it. Go for it. Greetings, Garrett. Nice to see you. What's that say? Rav Connor. Good to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it. We're talking about what makes a good image. So please hop on the old chat and let us know what your thoughts are. What do you got here? I make an image for me, not thinking what people will think of it when I post it to social media until people comment on it. Yeah, and I think that's the best approach. And that's the approach I think most people take. But at the same time, even when you're making it for you, like in the back of my head, I'm always thinking, all right, how can I'm always trying to create art. Because, I look at like Edward Hopper's paintings, my favorite artist. And it's like, that is just freaking beautiful. And I know I can't do that and don't have the skills to do it. And so I try my hardest to create art. I will do documentary type of photography, whether I'm shooting sports or like last summer when we went into Chicago and shot the No Kings protest. But even when I'm doing documentary type of photography, in the back of my head, I'm still trying to create an artistic image. I'm always trying to create art. And I don't know why that is, to be honest with you. I should give that some thought. Maybe I'm a wannabe artist. Apparently I am. But that's always my intent. That's always my goal. I want to create something beautiful. Um, I literally don't know why that is. Yeah, I'm a wannabe artist. So what's Phil say here? Definitely intentional when doing landscape photos. Sometimes wildlife is difficult to be intentional, but I do try to move around and get a better background. Yeah, that's what you can do with the wildlife, is try to get a different background. And even when you're shooting wide open, and you know you're going to have that beautiful bokeh behind your subject, it still helps. It still makes a stronger image um, when you have, a contrasting color, or a color that accentuates your subject as that bokeh. Like your Carolina Wren images, I want to say there's that softish, greenish uh, bokeh, blurred out color behind the Wren, and just makes a beautiful image. Where if it wasn't that softish, greenish color, and it was a brown, the Wren might just blend in with the bokeh, the blurred out background, and that's not going to be as strong of an image. So yeah, that's a really good point as far as shooting, wildlife. Picture you made in the British rail station with all the horizontal lines is a favorite. Extraordinary good pick. Should bring you a prize in contest. Well, thank you very much. Yeah, I appreciate that. I've only entered a few contests in my day, and I've really only won once. I don't really count the contests that we had, with my camera club. I think I talked about it last week, or in a video last week. That was more of a fun thing. It's kind of like what we're doing with our one photo project. But yeah, it's just speaking of contests. I don't know why. I've never really been a contest enterer. But I probably should. I answered not too long ago, $40 for the independent photographer, and that was not a good experience for me. So, but hey, so that's really all I had. Watch, this time next week, and I'm gonna have the live, not live, but premiere video of the one photo project. We'll show all the images. I know I'm going to talk about 3 or 4 of them, maybe 5, but all of them will get shown. And the subject was the kitchen table. And for those of you that might not know about it, that was the subject because we have our most meaningful conversations, or at least we used to, at the kitchen table. And I think that needs to get back to being popular again, and just talking and having meaningful conversation needs to get amped up again. We need to have that in our lives, and just it's a good thing. So thanks for all your effort. Good broadcast. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. So hey, I wish you all a good Wednesday. Just a couple of days away from Friday and the weekend, and hope the weather is good for all of you and you all get a chance to get out and shoot. And that's it. With that, hey, I am Garrick. Phil, I'll get a hold of you. I'll check the schedule. I am Garrick, and I am your very best friend in the whole wide world. So we'll see you all next time. Thanks again so much for stopping by. I really appreciate it. We'll see you. Bye-bye.